vulnerable in Iran, and they're ready if the bombing campaign starts again. Obviously, their preference is for peace and calm, and we'll see what the coming days will bring to that.
By making a series of absolutely insane and ridiculous.
Yeah, I want to talk about that because, George, I mean, this cannot be a negotiating strategy on the part of Donald Trump, or if it is, I mean, it's just completely incomprehensible to me. It seems, let's turn it into a different direction here. George, has either side been serious about negotiating?
Well, it's very hard to say because towards the end of last week, it did seem as if we were moving toward a second round of negotiations in Islamabad. And there was a number of articles that appeared in the New York Times and Axios, which suggested that there was a deal to be had. I mean, they were talking on the question of is zero enrichment more the moratorium. Iran proposed a 5-year zero enrichment moratorium. United States said 20 years. Well, that sounds like, you can just then meet somewhere halfway. So it seemed as if there was going to be a second round of negotiations. But in fact, then when after the announcement of the Lebanon ceasefire, and then R.I.P said, well, in that spirit, we are ending the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. And then Trump rushed out this truth saying, well, that's it, we've got it. And effectively, Iran has surrendered. We have won the war. And but then that's what then exploded in Iran, where the IRGC very, very strongly distanced themselves from R.I.P, saying, R.I.P shouldn't be going around making these somewhat.
How should we interpret that, Mark?
Yeah, this is something I pointed out before the conflict began, is that the ultimate result of all of this decapitation strikes is not a collapse of the Iranian, but the IRGC, in particular the hardliners, gaining firmer control of the Iranian government than they have before. And I think there has been some level of disagreement and definitely some miscommunication on the issue of this here. Araghchi was chastised quite openly by Tasnim, the IRGC's media channel, this ill-advised tweet, without specifying all the qualifications. Yes, the Strait of Hormuz would be open, but only to commercial vessels, not to military ones. It would still be under IRGC control. They would be guiding ships through and collecting tolls. The Lebanese ceasefire must be real. Oh, and the U.S. had to give up their counter blockade as well.
دور بعدی برای مذاکرات ما برنامه‌ای نداریم. اولا تا الان که من خدمتتون هستم در مورد دور بعدی برای مذاکرات ما برنامه‌ای نداریم.
Again, and they would give Trump a pretty little pink pony and everything else that he wanted.
Yeah, but I mean, but George, is that a negotiating strategy in lieu of? Because that's how I look at it. Is because I don't. When you think about it, I mean, Iran has come this far. I mean, they're a victim of this attack by the United States and Israel. They've got the Strait of Hormuz. They got a lot of cards to play. Why would they settle now, George?
Well, I don't think they will.
I mean, also, I want to point out, you can always overplay your hand, okay?
Government works to the extent that we can figure out. It does seem that R.I.P, the people around R.I.P, are interested in some kind of a negotiated outcome. And I think they will probably think...
we are hearing from Washington telling us that they want to talk. By the way, no date has been set.
President Trump talked about this week.
I'm telling you that we have not agreed to any date. We have not agreed to the modality. Right now, we are seeking an answer to this question. Are we going to see a repetition of an act of aggression while we are engaging in dialogue? They have not made their position clear yet.
Is it time to rethink your nuclear program? There are reports that perhaps a deal could involve sanctions relief, investment in Iran, in exchange for Iran agreeing not to enrich uranium itself. Would that be possible?
Why should we agree to such a proposal?
Because Iranians on this visit have told us that Iran has paid too high a price for enriching uranium, causing suspicions even among your European partners about why you were enriching to 60%. It wasn't necessary.
First of all, 60% is something which is used for peaceful purposes.
But it did create this situation of suspicion.
The level of that can be discussed. The capacity can be discussed. But to say that you should not have enrichment, you should have zero enrichment, and if you do not agree, we will bomb you, that is the law of the jungle.
Except for no, okay? And a framework, that's not going to come into being at midnight Wednesday.
It's not going to come into being with this administration at all. The Russians have had the exact same problem as at the Chinese, sending Trump's real estate buddy Witkoff and his son-in-law Kushner, is not with just an inspection of, a smoke-filled room and a handshake is not the way states conduct diplomacy, and the U.S. has been incapable. And Galibov, the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, pointed out that Trump basically said 7 propaganda lies in the space of an hour. And I think Trump is doing 3 things here, more or less, besides just that the man is an unhinged megalomaniac. First, he's maintaining the
tomorrow. So day of jeopardy today and possibly tomorrow, Vicky Estama.
African nations in Angola today. He's travelled to Suriname for a mass there before travelling back to the capital, Luanda. He's been as well at a Catholic shrine located at the site of an important hub of the African slave trade during Portugal's colonial rule. These images, though, in fact, just coming into us from Suriname, where he's speaking. After believers reported an appearance, in fact, by the Virgin Mary back in the early 1830s. But the church was also where enslaved Africans were gathered to be baptized by Portuguese priests before being forced to walk to the port of Luanda, which is over 110 kilometers to the north, to put on ships to America. Pope Leo's own ancestors include enslaved people and slave owners. But these images coming into us right now from Washington.
That also given the previous diplomacy that for Iran the nuclear issue can easily be resolved. They've shown enormous amount of flexibility on this. This was in Oman of last year,
even during the Obama years, the JCPOA.
Exactly. This isn't such a huge deal for them. security, as you said, is absolutely a huge deal for them. Also now, with the power that they've exerted over the Strait of Hormuz, they have a far more powerful weapon.
All right, George, on that note, I'm going to go back to you after the break, and after the break, we'll continue our discussion.
Mama Mushima. Mama Mushima, tuweza kokwe. Mama Mushima, tutambulule. Mama Mushima, tuweza.
Popular one, using language in African country. L'avantage d'avoir une seule langue maternelle dans le pays. You can tell the crowd have been waiting for this during his apostolic trip to Africa. Pope Leon has already shown off his English, French, Portuguese, and Spanish, but this afternoon he's unlocked a new language, Kimbundu, a Bantu language spoken in Angola. He said, Mama Muksima tuweza kakue, Mama Muksima tutambule, which means Mother of the Heart, we come to Mother of the Heart, receive us. The crowd erupted in applause. Thank you for your time. That was the breaking news update today about Iran. If Iran and the United States are going to have another session of peace talk in Pakistan. Donald Trump confirmed that there are peace talk, but the Iranian says there is no plan of peace talk, and that was Pape Leon in Africa. Now he is in Angola. Thank you.